Welcome to the 2-Minute Guru. My name is Daniel Bogdanoff. Today we're going to be doing an oscilloscope survival guide. An oscilloscope is a tool that you need to know how to use if you're going to do any sort of electrical engineering or electronics work. At its very core, an oscilloscope helps you visualize what's happening on your electrical signal. So now that we know the very basics of what we're looking at, we want to know how to deal with a signal that looks like this. This is not a helpful signal. The first thing you want to do is take your horizontal knob and you want to zoom in and make sure that you're not zoomed out so far that you can't see what's going on. Second, you want to make sure your trigger level is set up correctly. So the trigger level is controlled by this little knob in the trigger section. We talked earlier about how the scope takes snapshots of the signal. Essentially, the trigger level is like your shutter button on a camera. It tells the scope when to take a snapshot. The scope is always going to boot in a mode called edge trigger mode. Anytime a signal comes and touches that line, the scope's going to trigger. There are lots of different trigger modes. For example, we could put the scope into a pulse width trigger mode. I'm now telling the scope to trigger on any pulses that are smaller than 100 nanoseconds. And you can see that I'm triggering consistently on this small pulse. If I go back to my edge trigger, you can see that my signal actually has a lot more going on. The last thing we're going to talk about today is how to make measurements. On old analog scopes, you'd have to go in and count the divisions and figure out how wide this pulse is. Modern digital scopes now have a measure button and they're going to make those measurements for you automatically. So to make a measurement, all I have to do is hit the measurement button. If I want to see another measurement, for example, I want to see the pulse width, I can hit this plus button here and select the pulse width measurement. And now I have a pulse width value shown in my measurement sidebar. We've looked at a few things in today's survival guide. We looked at what an oscilloscope does. We looked at how to scale signals on your screen. We talked about triggering and how to set an appropriate trigger level. We've also talked about how to make measurements. With this information, you should be able to go into the lab and be successful. So now that you know the basics of oscilloscopes, be sure to check out other 2-Minute Gurus that cover oscilloscopes and other topics in more depth. Also, be sure to subscribe to the Keysight Oscilloscopes YouTube channel to keep up to date with all of our latest videos. Hit the like button and comment to let me know if there's other topics that you'd like me to cover in the future. I'm Daniel Bogdanoff. This has been another episode of the 2-Minute Guru. Thanks for watching.